But in order to really appreciate the solution, we have to know how deep is the problem. Because sometimes, it's okay, some people take it lightly, but in the Torah, it's a very, very serious issue. The whole purpose of the descent in Egypt was actually to go and repair the sin of Zera Levatala of Adam HaRishon.
Okay, welcome to the podcast, Rabbi Saadia Elhadad from Montreal. We met the rabbi a couple of days ago, and Baruch Hashem, I've been really bonding with him. And unlike other podcasts, we give the rabbi the main chair. Esh. So we're going to be talking today about a very, you could say taboo topic. It's a sensitive topic, but at the same time, it's a topic that many people are struggling with, which is the topic of course, we're in Yemei Shovavim now, which is Parashat Shemot until Mishpatim. And this is the time period in the Jewish calendar where men fix the issue of Shmirat HaBrit, Zera Batala and whatnot. You could say in a very polite way, improper acts when it comes to the category of intimacy and things. I personally try to be very careful with saying, the S word and things of that nature, because I learned, in Lashon Kodesh, they use the word of bi'ah, to go, because the way that God designed the Torah, and of course the instructions within it, is very tzniut. So even just to mention it for the sake of education, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Of course, the rabbi knows better than me, but we all know what we're talking about. So many times people get discouraged with this topic, meaning when they fall on this issue, it's a lot of guilt, a lot of depression, a lot of coming out of the world, praying and not being able to pray, learning and not feeling it, not feeling close to Hashem. This is the yesod of everything. The Shmirat HaBrit is the yesod of everything. And from what I learned, mazal is motzi zera lebatala. This could hurt you when you want to get married. It could hurt you when you're looking to make parnasah, just to be happy, to feel close to Hashem on a daily basis. And this is a very important subject and important issue. It's the foundation of everything, and when we fix it, we unlock everything in our life, from what I understand. And this brings poverty not just financially, but also mentally and spiritually, and all these categories. Now, of course, this is not to make any of the viewers feel bad. The purpose of this podcast is to speak about this and give you actual tools on how to repair it, how to overcome it, and how to deal with it. Many times people will mislead you on the internet, and I'm sure there's many other people online who are spilling a bunch of information that's not coming from the direct source. We want to give you a source, we want to give you chizuk, encouragement, to know how to repair this issue practically. And Rabbi, I'll let you take it from there.
Chazak, thank you very much, Jonathan. I really appreciate it, and I think you said the most essential part of it, so the podcast is over. Let's start to understand the fundamentals, and then, like you said, we have to come to solutions, okay? But in order to really appreciate the solution, we have to know how deep is the problem. Because sometimes, it's okay, today it's something some people take it lightly, it's not such a big deal, it's part of being the youth and whatever, Maybe, but in the Torah, it's a very serious issue. To the extent that the Shulchan Aruch says this is the worst sin. Not one of the sins, but this is the worst one. Why? Because it affects life. And we know Jews, Baruch Hashem, we're very attached to life. We're from the side of life. We bring life. We fight for life. We do everything in order to preserve life. And even we are ready to skip Yom Kippur. So for us, life is the real biggest mitzvah we can have. That's why the first mitzvah of the Torah is perurbu, multiply and fructify. So it's not a small item among other items. It's a major thing in the Torah. And Hashem is life. Chaya Chaim. He's that's what we call Hashem. He's the one who gives us life, and we have to make sure we sanctify this life. We elevate and we use our life properly, and we extend it to the most, maximum extension. We are really people of life. Unfortunately, we see our enemies, and they tell us, our enemies are telling us, the same way you cherish life, we cherish death. And they think they're going to beat us at the end because they're from the side of death. What we call sitra demota, sitra ahra, the other side, the side of the death. We are completely sitra de chaye. We are the side of the life. And not just life in this world, but chaye olam haba also. We also think always chaye olam haba. So for us, this is an important thing. Now, when it comes to the zera, when it comes to the seed, This is the fundamental, the basic of life. That's where all life starts with. Is this? That's why the Shulchan Aruch says, Chaz v'Shalom, someone who is not careful and just let it go in every direction, he's committing a serious, whatever you call it in English, something very chamur. To the extent that the Rabbi Shlomo Chaim, the Zohar HaKadosh says, is such a big avera, there is no teshuva on this avera. Wow. When you see this in the Zohar, then you freak out. Says that if Rabbi Shlomo Chaim is so holy, so kadosh or elyon, tells you that, so what's left if we did it? And most of the people, unfortunately, went through this kind of experience. No, Baruch Hashem, we have a great tzaddik known as Rabbi Nachman of Breslev. He came 200 years ago, and he explained that we didn't understand properly the Zohar. Yes, it's a very chamur, strict sin, but there is a tikkun, there is a reparation, and actually, it's not so difficult. The tikkun is it's the famous tikkun haklali that Rabbi Nachman, revealed. Those famous 10 psalms that someone say after doing tefillah, going to the mikveh, giving prutat zakah, regretting his actions, and doing vidui, tshuva, and then just by saying those 10 kaptil teilim, that will be sufficient to repair this very, very big sin. Now, this being said, we have to understand that all the great tzaddikim, they achieved the levels they achieved because they were very, very strong on holding themselves and make sure that Chaz v'Shalom never crossed this line. And that's why they were where they were. Now, most of the people have this issue. Let's go back again. Let's continue with the fundamentals. The famous question in the Gemara and the whole Shas as a question, why did we end up in Egypt for 210 years of slavery? Very harsh time for Am Yisrael. That's where actually we were formed as a nation. But why did we have to go through such a painful experience, right? So if you look in the entire Gemara, in the entire Shas, there's only one place where there's an answer. Let's see, let's look at it together. The Gemara says like this, in Nedarim 32a. Okay, the Talmud discusses why the sons of Avraham Avinu were exiled to Egypt. The passage attributes the exile to 3 mistakes committed by Avraham Avinu. First, engaging in a war instead of relying on God's protection. And he took Talmidei Chachamim to engage in this war. And Hashem reproached him that. He said, you were not supposed to do that. Then he asked, when Hashem told him, he promised he'd the land of Israel, he said, Bameh Eda, how would I know that I'm going to get, my descendant will benefit of this land and will be the owners of the land? So he has like a question of sort of safek, of doubt. And finally, in the story of Sodom ve'Amorah, he didn't accept some converts. And then Hashem was not happy either with this kind of decision. So the Gemara says, because of 3 reasons, the descendants of Avraham Avinu were exiled in Egypt. Obviously, something is missing here. And all the Chachamim say, okay, yes, for sure, there's a pshat and it's there, and we have to take it as a fact. But still, we have to dip in to search more in depth and to understand why such an exile, 210 years, such hardship, slavery, and not only that, because that's where we became a nation, had to go through those 3, in quote, little mistakes of Avraham Avinu. So the only one who came and gave us a very extended answer and an important answer is the Ari HaKadosh, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, the famous, the biggest Kabbalist of all time, who took back all the Ktavim of the Zohar HaKadosh, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, which were written 2,000 years ago. Him, the Arizal, came 400 years ago in Tzfat, and he revealed to us that the whole purpose of the descent in Egypt was actually, Al Pi Pshat, it's what the Gemara says, but Al Pi Sod, it's to go and repair the sin of Zera Levatala of Adam HaRishon. And then we have a real remez, allusion in Nedarim, because what Avraham Avinu says to Akadosh Baruch Hu, Bameh Eda, how would I know that my descendant will inherit of this land? The word Bameh Eda is a reference to Etz Hadat Tovara, the famous tree of knowledge of, how you say in English, Tovara.
Good and bad.
Good and bad. That Adam Arishon, unfortunately, was pogem, did a flaw there. He has a shortcoming there. And he ate from this tree. And since then, after eating of the tree, he regretted so much doing this mistake. He separated from his wife Chava for 130 years. And during these 130 years, unfortunately, the Zohar says, the Ari HaKadosh says also, repeats it, that during 130 years, Adam Arishon, since he was not with his wife officially, he had his seeds were spread all over. And he brought, how you say in English, suyur, all the souls he were containing, because Adam Arishon contained all the souls of humanity. Those souls were affected and tainted with this Avera. So now, the Ari HaKadosh explained that those 130 years of mistakes and Zera Levata of Adam Arishon had to be rectified. Where? Who's going to take upon themselves to rectify this mistake? The descendant of Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu is the first one who started the Tikkun Olam, the Tikkun of the Chet of Eitz Hadat Tovara, the Tikkun of Adam Arishon, and it's about 2,000 years difference between Adam and what's his name, Avraham Avinu. In the middle, halfway, we had Noach.
Oh, okay.
Noach tried to start the Tikkun. Unfortunately, when he came out from the Teva, the ark, thank you. When he came out from the ark, he planted a vineyard, and he drank from it. And we know what Ham did. They have another Gama Brit, and they all, unfortunately, all fall again. So the one who started the Tikkun is Avraham Avinu. Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Levi, and so on, until the seventh shepherd, faithful shepherd, who was Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu came to a high level of repair of this and a major level of preparation. Not all of it, but most of it. Like they say, according to Kabbalah, they say they repaired. They were Rapach Nitzotzot Dekdusha. There was 288 sparks of holiness, we fell into the klipot, into the realm of the how you say klipot in English? Layers of impurity,
right.
And they had to be elevated back to their source. When we went in Egypt, we elevated 202 of them. That's the count that the Kabbalah does. So we still have, since Moshe Rabbeinu until now, 86. 288 minus 202, which were repaired through our passage in Egypt. Now we have another 86 since then to repair. Imagine. So the repair in Egypt was huge. In Mitzrayim was immense. Now, the Ramchal, Rabbi Chaim Moshe Luzzatto, explained something beautiful. He said, but why you have to go to Egypt? Why Dafka there? Which is the land of the Ervat Haaretz. This is the land which was completely into this sin, into this immorality,
right.
Into the where there was no limit and boundaries.
What was worse, Mitzrayim or Noach's generation?
Mitzrayim was even worse.
Wow.
Well, let's say no. Let's put it this way: before Noach, the generation of before Noach, which was the generation of the Hamas. It's funny because they were completely immoral, and the last thing which really made the Bible was the Hamas. They start to steal and to take, so that make it like Hashem said, okay, that's it. It's enough is enough. That was a very terrible generation. That's where the flood came in, and the flood is like a big mikveh. The concept of the flood. Why you flood? Why Hashem didn't bring any other punishment? Because Hashem was not here to finish with humanity. He wanted to repair it and to start again on new basis.
Wow.
So the water, the concept of flood is he took the whole planet Earth and put it into a big mikvah and make it rebirth again and reborn again, right? Actually, the only land who was not affected by the flood was Eretz Israel.
Really?
Yeah, Eretz Israel was not affected. So, Baruch Hashem, here we are. We had, yes, it's good that you mentioned the generation of Noach. Noach was almost there to do the full repair. Unfortunately, he missed the boat. Avraham Avinu
Missed the boat.
Missed the boat, the ark. He went out of the ark. And Avraham Avinu came and was able to start the Tikkun. Now, the Ramchal, to go back to what the Ramchal says, the only way to repair something is to go back to the root of the problem and to be confronted to the root of the problem.
That's the Rambam.
The Ramchal, Rabbi Chaim Moshe Luzzatto, which came just after the Ari HaKadosh. It was a tremendous Talmid Chacham and Gaon. And he wrote like almost 100 books in his lifetime, and it was very short lifetime, 40 years. He lived for it. Mesiat Yesharim, that's the most well-known book that is learned in yeshivot, but Kabbalah books and Da'atul Vunot and so many other books. So he says we had to go, Am Yisrael, that's why we end up in Egypt for 210 years. Why? Because we have to be confronted, in order to repair the sin of Adam HaRishon, we have to be repaired to a nation who was completely into that sin, completely into the Ra. And it's only by being confronted to this klipa that the tikkun was going to start with, okay? So it's very interesting. It's like homeopathy. You know, homeopathy healing is you use the evil to the bad to fix the bad. So let's say it's a kind of example like that. In any case, we had to go there and repair. Now, Baruch Hashem, something very interesting. Am Yisrael, when we got in Egypt, unfortunately, we went down spiritually. After the passing of Yosef HaTzadik, the older generation, they start to lose it. Beside the Shevet Levi, all the other Shvatim start to get assimilated with the surrounding and the culture of Egypt, to the extent that we fell into Memtet Sharetuma, in 49 gates, right, of impurity. Chachamim says one more, and that will be gone. We could never came out from Egypt. It's very interesting. Just in code, just to make a parenthesis, Rabbi Natan says, "What is this 50 gate? If we had entered this gate, we never came out from it." Very interesting. Rabbi Natan says this is the gate of Yeush, of despair, that we never crossed this gate, and because we kept Tikva, hope, that's the 50 gate of Kedusha, and Moshe Rabbeinu was able to draw from the 50 gate of Kedusha and instill it in our soul. Although we are down, we are out there Avodah Zarah, idolaters. We are completely assimilated to the Egyptian culture and everything. But Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said something beautiful. He says the only thing we never did wrong in Egypt was Re'alevatala, was immorality. We kept, and Bishut who? Bishut Nashim Tzadkaniot, the women of valor, you say, of Israel, they kept tzniut. They were waiting their husband when they came back from work, from the slave job. And they were fulfilling the mitzvah. And they were doing everything al pi tahara. They were unfortunately idolaters. They believe in stupid things of the Egyptian society and philosophy. But when it came to morality, and they kept it 100%. And Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said, this is what saved the Am Yisrael from not entering the 50 gate, from not entering the gate of the... The only one the Torah mentioned is Shlomit Bat Divri, one lady among all those ladies, holy woman, who went with an Egyptian man. And the Torah goes out of her way to tell you about this story, to tell this the exception of all the exceptions. There was no other one who so Bishut Nashim, the woman, the Jewish woman who kept this level of morality, were able to exile and get out from Egypt. So we see how important it is. Now, we see, Baruch Hashem, we repair a big chunk of this sin of Adam HaRishon, of this mistake of Adam HaRishon, which he did. By the way, when we said that Adam HaRishon got separated 130 years with his wife Chava, you can see that how old was Yaakov Avinu when he came to Egypt? 130 years. How old Yocheved when she gave birth to Moshe Rabbeinu? 130 years. This 130 years, Beremez, is like Hashem is show us that all the purpose of Yaakov getting down in Egypt, 130 years. When Yocheved gave the Savior, the Goel Israel, She was 130 years. So we see that Beremez, the Torah shows you that the 130 years is not just the age it's more as a tikkun for the chet of Adam HaRishon. You follow me? Okay, now we go out of Egypt. Baruch Hashem. And who's waiting? Okay, Paro is finished. This week's parasha, Beshalach. Who are we going to meet in when we go after the Kiryat Yamsuf? We're happy. Az Yashir Moshe. Paro is drowning there. His army is finished. That's it. Gone with the wind. No, but the shoresh, the source of evil, say Reshit Goim. Who is this? Amalek. Who now come? The big boss. Amalek. Like today is Iran. Iran is the head of the snake. They have their proxies. Paro was just a proxy of Amalek. Reshit Goim Amalek. Paro was the proxy. Chazal says Paro was in the Mem Tet Share Tuma, and Amalek is the 50th gate of Tuma. Wow. That's what Rabbi Nachman says about Amalek. There's a pasuk you mentioned, Parashat Noach before. Just at the end of Bereshit, it says there, Rak Ra Kol Hayom. This pasuk means only evil all day. If you see Rak Ra Kol Hayom, you take the Sofet Tevot, which is the last letter of this pasuk. Rak is Kuf, Ra is Ayin, Kol is Lamed, Yom is Mem. This makes Amalek. Amalek is, in essence, completely evil. Has no nitzot, no even spark of goodness, of Kedusha. Zero. He's empty. He's the opposite of Kedusha. Zele umadze. We have Moshe Rabbeinu from one side, we have Amalek from the other side. Those are the two. Zele umadze. Now Amalek comes when he sees that Paro lost it, and because Amalek, as we know, is unfortunately the grandson of Esav, the son of Eliphaz. He came through the union of Ishmael and Esav. Timnah was his mother, Eliphaz was his father, and Esav made him, which we know, Esav Sonei Yaakov, Be'alacha. Esav told to Amalek, his grandson, I want you to take revenge for me, because Yaakov, my twin brother, I hate him with my passion. So he gave this task to Amalek to finish with Am Yisrael. So Amalek was waiting. When he saw Am Yisrael coming out, he couldn't believe they came out from Egypt. For him, they were gone forever. Now he sees come out. He knows he can do nothing against Am Yisrael, but still, he's going to go and try to fight them and try to wage war against them. As it's a nonsense. It's exactly like today, we're living today. They know that they're not going to finish with us. So why they attack us? Why 3,000 Hamas came to attack us? They know they're going to wait, lost. You know what's their victory? Their victory is only to make us just look the pasuk. I just wanted to take this pasuk. Okay. Remember what Amalek did to you when you went out of Egypt. Asher karcha baderech. What is Asher karcha baderech? I'm going to try to translate it properly. How he met you by the way and smote in hindmost of you. Well, this is super difficult English. I don't know what is the old English. It's more complicated than I thought. Anyway, Asher karcha baderech. He said he met you on the way. Karcha, like countered you on the way. Chazal said very interesting. Again, this is the Ramchal interpretation. Karcha has three meanings, and we're going to come to our subject. This will lead us to our subject completely now. Karcha means he countered you. He came to your rencontre. He said to meet you, to fight you, to engage war against you. But Karcha means also from the word kar, means cold, to remove your enthusiasm. Because when we came from Egypt, we're so happy, we're so strong. We are in Mem Tet Share Kedusha, on the way to Sinai, to Kabbalat Torah. We're so happy. Az Yashir Moshe, we came out from the Kiryat Yamsuf. We're completely, So he says, no way. I'm not going to let them rejoice so fast. And he came to try to kill us. Karcha means he came to make us cold, to remove our passion, our heat, our energy, positive energy. knowing that he's not going to make it. Chazal says something beautiful. You have to listen to this. It's amazing. Chazal says, what Amalek, what kind of personage he is. He says he knows he's not going to finish with Israel because Israel is invincible, is eternal. He knows that. So what's his goal? His goal, he says, is like a man who throw himself into a bathtub, boiling water, bathtub with boiling water, and he throw himself inside. So you say, are you not or what? You're going to die. You're going to die. What you doing? Why you throw yourself into the water? Say, for one reason. I'm just going to lower a little bit the temperature by throwing myself into this. That is the Midrash says. By throwing myself into this boiling water, the temperature is going to get lower. That's what he's doing with Israel. He's trying to make you just less enthusiastic in your avodat Hashem. How? We know Amalek is gematria, Safek. Safek is doubt. So he introduced doubt in the mind of Israel. He says, what? You think really there's a God? Do you believe in those stories? That. And then, you know what? You say, maybe he's right, maybe this. And you start to get colder in your avodat Hashem. As we know, to be Oved Hashem, you have to be warm. You have to, like Yosef HaTzadik, to be enthusiastic. Sameach v'roked, you have to be always on the high. That's the way you serve Hashem. Not like Rabbi Nachman used to say, you have to be a hot knish, not a cold knish. You have to be gewaltig. You have to be. So Amalek is here too. That's number one explanation of the Karecha Baderech. Second explanation, Karecha milashon mikre. He is the master of telling you everything is random. Mikre means random. Nothing is be'ashgacha pratit. He is the anti-divine providence. Mikre means is what? He said, what are you talking about? The world was created with a Big Bang. There's no such a thing as Hagashka pratit. Okay, let's say God, there's a great intelligence who created those whole thing, but he doesn't intervene in everyday thing. Okay, create it like anyone, like a creator. The engineer who created this table. Who's here? He's done. He created a table, he left. No. We in Torah says no. Yes, human beings are creating things, or actually transforming things. We don't create, we just transform things. And then, it's true, we don't know where the mastercraft of this guy who did this table, maybe he's dead already. And the table is still here. But it's not with a God. God, not only he creates, he maintains his creation every second. That's Hashgacha Pratit. Kama Amalek says, no. Mikre. Everything is mikre. Everything is random. There's not such a thing as Hashgacha Pratit and a master plan and divine intervention every second. That's why he's trying to put it in the head of Am Yisrael. We have obviously to read. And then we come to our subject. Mikre milashon keri. Keri means zera levatala. That's the master of making sin, Am Yisrael. As we know, that the Torah tells us, Am Yisrael, Kedoshim tiyu ki kadosh ani. Famous parasha Kedoshim. Be kadosh because I'm kadosh. But Hashem is calling upon us to be kadosh like Him. Kedoshim tiyu ki kadosh ani. What Rashi says there on Kedoshim tiyu kadosh ani? Perushim min arayot. You know how what's mean kadosh in our language, in our terminology? Here in America we call holy. In Montreal we call him saint. Saint in French. But that doesn't sound right. Rashi explained what the word kedusha. Kedusha means get separated from arayot, from immorality. And the Ramban, not the Rambam, the Ramban says, he brings another concept, kadesh hatzmecha b'ma shemutar lach. In order to sanctify yourself, you go over the basic rules and you sanctify yourself even in what is permitted to you. When something is not forbidden, but even if it's not forbidden, try to avoid it. Be over and beyond the strict level of the law. So here we see Kedusha means just get separated from immorality. So all Kedushat HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kedushat Am Yisrael. Now come Amalek. You know what he does? When he... Continue? Mm-hmm. When he comes and he tries to tell, where is God? It's random. There's no Hashgacha. He's trying now to remove you what we call the Da'at. Da'at means godly awareness. He's trying to reduce your understanding and godly awareness. By doing so, chas v'shalom, what we do? What are the zera of the human being? Zera is actually created in the brain. Are tipot of da'at, where the drops of godly awareness, the holy drops. So when someone takes those holy drops, and that's the work of Amalek, and make sure they don't go into the right keli, in the right vessel, so it's lost. It's a da'at which is lost. It's a godly awareness is lost. Because his name of the game was the big fight between Moshe Rabbeinu and Amalek. Is what? Is that Amalek does everything to hide God and to make sure we never speak about God. We never bring God in our reality, in our hearts, in our mind, in our daily life. We, Am Yisrael, is the opposite. 100 times a day. We always bring back Hashem in our... Everything we do is to glorify and to reveal Hashem in this world. In every aspect. Baruch Hashem, thank you, Hashem. All those expressions, we always reveal and make the people understand that yes, it's God who is running the world. He's the God who's behind the whole history and everything. So we are here to reveal Hashem. Amalek is the exact opposite. He's here to hide Hashem. How is going to hide Hashem? Because by definition, Hashem, when he created the world, hid himself. Olam, the world, Olam, from Lashon Elem. Elem means, by definition, when Hashem created the world, he hid himself in order to have free will. And that we Jews are supposed to reveal him, to remove the veil of where he is hidden and show that Hashem is among us. That's why Hashem said, Iva shel yira betartonim. The whole Chassidut Chabad is based on that. Hashem, the Midrash Tanchuma says, Hashem desired to have a dwelling in this world, a dwelling place in this world. So we are here to do that job. Amalek is the opposite. He's here to hide him. How is going to hide the Hashem? Through Zer Levatala. Through taking drops of da'at from the Jewish person. And he makes him throw away. That's why those are three explanations of Amalek. So this is the arch enemy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not just our enemy, by the way. It's Hashem's enemy. Look, in this week's parasha, Min HaShamayim, that we meet and we speak about all this, on this week's parasha, it's written, Vayomer Hashem, El Moshe, Ktov Zot Zikaron B'Sefer. Write this in the Sefer. And at the end, he says like this. Sorry. Yes, that. Vayomer Hashem El Moshe, Ktov Zot, Mechila, they say. It's here. ויבן משה מזבר ויקרא שמו השם ניסי ויאמר כי יד על כסיה מלחמה להשם בעמלק. It's a war that Hashem is Hashem's war. It's not our war. We're waging and we're fighting against Amalek, against Hamas, against Iran, against all those Amalek in every generation, every Hitler and all those Saddam Hussein, all those Amalek in every generation, and spiritual Amalek also. Not for us. We're waging this war for Hashem. We're fighting. This is Hashem's war. It's a ki milchama l'Hashem ba'amalek midor dor. So all this I want to finish with them. What was the tikkun of this? Now, there's so many things to say about it, but I don't think we have too much time because we didn't really go into the subject yet. I just wanted to do the historic perspective, where all this come from, fundamentally, and then in our daily life, it's completely different story. Okay, because we have to go back and see with our own reality. And I'm going to make it very fast, okay? And I'm going to see which one, what are the Chumrah. First and foremost, it's written in Masechet Avodah Zarah, Shenishmachta mikol davara. The Torah begs you, please avoid anything which is ra. Now, what's the definition of ra? What is ra? The Masechet Nida, in Yud Gimel says, Kol hamevi atzmo lidei hiruch, whoever start to have immoral thoughts, hiruch means immoral thoughts, he cannot enter in Hashem's mechitza. Because Hashem is Kodesh Kodeshim. He's the holy of holy of holy of holy. There's no limit, as we say. So whoever come and starts to have just irurim, bad thought, which Amalek is the instigator, by the way. We understand now who's the shoresh of all this and the source of all this. So he says, be careful, because Chaz v'Shalom, someone who has this Hirurim cannot enter. Now, Ramasechet Yoma, another Gemara, Chavtet says, Iurir Avera, Kashi me Avera. That's very powerful. It says, you know what? Just having this thought, these evil thoughts of Avera and immorality is worse than the action of immorality. Very interesting. The thought, because usually we always say something interesting. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mistares marasha tova le maaseh. There's sometimes you want to do a mitzvah. The Gemara in Brachot says you want to do a mitzvah. Let's say you want to do bikur cholim, go visit sick people in the hospital. Finally, it happened that you were not able to do so. We credit you with the mitzvah because machashava tova, you had a good thought, so we're going to give you the credit for like if you did the mitzvah. That's nice, all right? And what about the opposite? Someone say, you know what, there's a bank there across the street, I'm going to rob the bank. I'm going to do a lot of plans, he draws all the... And if we say, no, forget, I'm not going to... Are we counting me that he did the Avera like he robbed the bank? No. The Rachman of Hashem says, you didn't do the Avera, you didn't achieve what you were supposed to achieve. You thought doing it, but you never did it. So it's not the Avera. But when it comes to immorality, if someone thought of doing the Avera, even do it, it's worse than doing it.
Why? Because it comes from the brain?
It comes from the brain because you're touching to the essence of the... This is the ra, the evilness in its essence. So even in thought, you're not supposed to... So obviously, what most people say, but wait, I'm not in control of my thought. How do you want me to control myself? So we're going to see first how do it work. We're just exposing now and putting on the table the issues, right? We move on. I'm okay with my English.
Beautiful.
No, wait, I'm expressing... Okay, Baruch Hashem. No, because again, my English is... Okay. So, Rabbeinu, Rabbi Nachman in Likutei Moran, he says, Tzrichim lizer me'od mirura. We have to be very, very careful not to entertain those thoughts. Because, again, when someone has a bad thought on anything, we're not going to count him, this bad thought, as a sin or avera. But if he entertain it and continue to, I don't want to say a bad word, but you understand what I mean. He's okay. He's a phantasma. You say phantasma? He's fantasies. Thank you. He has fantasies. He continues in his imagination. He starts to continue to pick up. That's where the problem is. This is considered as a problem. If the guy has a bad thought and he rejects it, gone with the wind. Nothing's going to happen with that. The opposite. We created him the mitzvah. The Balatanya says you have the mitzvah of having rejected an evil thought. So it was an opportunity. This evil thought was an opportunity for you to reject it. You rejected it. Chazaku baruch. You have a mitzvah. You're a warrior.
Yeah, and practically to just do something else.
Exactly. Rabbi Nachman says you cannot think about two things at the same time.
Go for a walk.
So it's like I call this a funnel. You know when you.
The pyramid?
No, you know when you want to put, let's say, a liquid in a bottle,
Funnel.
A funnel. So he said the mind is like a funnel. Only one thought at a time can enter. Although the top will be full of things, but when it comes to enter the bottle, it goes one drop by drop. You cannot. So he said, if you have a bad thought, replace it by a good thought, and that's it. Because only one thought at a time can enter your mind. So various techniques how to overcome the bad thought. But someone who continue to that's the issue. And the Gemara is very picky on that. Okay? That's why he says, Machashav biyad adam. Rabbi Nachman says, it's in the hand of the person. Lechatota kirtzono. We all have a free will. And a person can say, oh, I cannot control my thought. It's not true. It's like you're riding on a horse.
It's a practice also.
It's a practice. And you maybe in the beginning the horse will be savage like this, but you have to work until you control your thoughts. And it's feasible through meditation, through Bodedut, through, getting your mind busy with the right things and not with that. And we're going to see how really the best cure for those bad thoughts are.
Just to really touch upon what you're saying, I think it's important to say this. I could tell you from my own experience, sometimes when you're in that dark place, you have no hope for yourself. And it's important to say for the viewers that through overcoming those evil thoughts, because there's also other things going on in the background. There's low self-esteem, there's low confidence, there's, oh, I'm never going to get married, oh, when's the shidduch going to come? Through overcoming this, that's exactly how you start.
You're absolutely right. And most of the time,
because the Yetzer Hara tries to defeat
so that's
you
where Amalek
when
comes
you're
in.
small.
He says, you see, you're not yet married, your parnasa is lousy, your parents don't like you,
And you're always
and
doing
you're
this.
you're a loser. Oh yeah, it's
The
true, it's
farthest
true.
thing from the truth.
And that, because before make you sin and bring
And
you
then
to
people
the
accept, oh, okay, I'm a loser.
exact.
But it's not
so
true.
the whole work of, because that's why I introduced Amalek in the beginning. Amalek is within us. We have a Paro, we have Amalek, but we have also Moshe Rabbeinu within us. So the Amalek who is within us, who controls the 50 gate of despair, because he holds by the 50 gate of Tuma, which is the door, like we said, Rabbi Nathan says, is the gate of despair. He tried to put the person in Yeush first. First, he makes me think that that's it. You're never going to get married. You're going to be successful. You're going to go. Your studies. You're going to drop. You're not going to get the right job. You're not going to get the right. He makes you feel like you. That's it. So when the person is sad, that's the beginning of all troubles. Rabbi Nachman, very interesting. He said, the highest level of mind impurity, soul impurity, is sadness. Atzvut is achi garua. That's the sin of all sins, Rabbi Nachman. And simcha is the opposite. So when someone, but who puts you in atzvut? Amalek. He comes inside. He starts with fekot. Gematria of Amalek is safek. Doubt. He makes you doubt about you. Doubt about HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Doubt about the friendship of you. Or maybe my friend is not really my friend. And maybe this one. The guy starts to be paranoid. Where he comes from? He was a normal kid, normal guy. But Amalek is attacking day and night,
So what does someone think when that's happening?
Mechila?
What does someone think when that's happening?
He thinks he may believe that. He may come to give up on those arguments.
Let's say
But
it's
never give up on those arguments. That's the question.
Let's say it's attacking you. How do you counter it?
If Amalek, who's the counter opposition of Amalek, is Moshe Rabbeinu. The only way when the Yetzer Hara attacks you, and the head of Yetzer Hara, the head of the snake, Reshit Goyim Amalek, the Gemara says, bring him to the Bet HaMidrash. When you go and you study Torah, you do you just kill him. He cannot support. When you start sitting and learning Torah, that's his end. Amalek is completely deactivated when you start learning Torah. Not only Torah, Tefillah also. What did Moshe Rabbeinu did when Amalek attacked Am Yisrael? He went on the Har. Aaron and Hur, his nephew, came. What's written there? Vahi yadav emuna. He raised his hand in emuna. What do you mean emuna? Onkelos alamakom says betfila, bitzlo. By the way, today is Baba Saleh Hilula. Baba Saleh means tzlo, tefila. Wow. It was the Baal tefila. Baba Saleh is the Baal tefila.
Nice.
And the kedusha of Baba Saleh, all this kedusha is always, and tefila is emunah. So how you counter Amalek, those evil thoughts, those thought of despair, of doubt, of being putting low, through Torah, Tefillah. What Torah, Tefillah? Those are Hakol Kol Yaakov, Yadayim Esav. The two voices of Yaakov is Kol Torah, Kol Tefillah. So those are our tools. How to counter Yadayim Esav. The hands of Esav, who is the grandfather of Amalek, how you counter them, you make sure they don't strangle you. Raise your voice. Which voice? The voice of Torah, the voice of Tefillah. When we say Tefillah, is Emunah. Because Emunah, what is this? You have safek, you have doubts. Say, no, I don't care. The doctors can say that I'm gone, I have 2 weeks to live. I have Emunah HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He is the Rofei HaGadol. Okay, this is Rofei HaKatan, but the Rofei HaGadol is there. When you counter even something with scientific and with proofs, and say, no, Emunah. Emunah ole ala kol. With Emunah, you can raise mountains and defeat all the statistics of the world.
Why does it work that way?
Because Emunah...
Is it because Hashem wants to see that we trust Him?
Tzadik be'emunah yechye. Ba Chabakuk ve'emid alachad. In the Gemara it says, after saying what's important, Ba Chabakuk is a famous Navi, and he says, Tzadik be'emunato yechye. The most important thing is emunah. Emunah is actually people think that emunah is for the nerds. Poor guy doesn't understand me as emunah, pshuta like this. Rabbi Nachman, this is the highest form of intelligence. Ish tamim yoshev oalim, Yaakov Vinu. Esav, his brother, thought he was a nerd, but Yaakov was a nerd. But what at the end? Yaakov took the beracha, he took the bechora, vayich kamini pa'amayim. He outsmarted Esav twice, and he made him look like an idiot at the end. Why? Because emunah. Ish tam yoshev oalim. Tamim. But it's not a tam like a tumble, like a stupid guy. The opposite. He's so smart that he understood was the real emet in this world. Titen emet Yaakov, Torah emet natan lanu. So when you have the emet of the Torah, that's why we always put together two things, emunah and emet. It's not just emunah, it's emet. Emet is Torah. Emunah is tefillah. That's why kol Yaakov. Those two elements have always to go together. At night when we do the tefillah, what do we say? Emet ve'emunah. Always we have to put together those two aspects. Okay. Anyways, too long. Let's continue on the subject, and we finish on this. We still have some time. What's the Yetzer Hara? According to Rabbeinu Akadosh in Likutei Moharan, he says the Yetzer Hara in his essence are the evil thoughts, and that's what we have to work on, because as we know, you have thought, dibur, and maaseh, 3 levels. Okay. So if you want to repair the source. Yes, you can repair the dibur. Yes, you can repair the maaseh. But start where it all comes from the thought. So work there. Make sure you're not trapped there, and you're able. This one I love it because it's the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov says something very, very profound. Rabbi Nachman takes it again in the Likutei Moharan, because Rabbi Nachman is the great grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, and he says some things. And it's come from the Zohar Kadosh. Akol b'machashava idbareru, the Zohar says. What is it? B'makom she'adam choshev, sham kol ha'adam. Where the person thinks, this is where he is. Now let's say we're sitting here, and you're thinking about something else in New York, about something, a situation. So physically you're here, but really you're in New York. So you are in the place of your thought. So if your thoughts are holy, you're in a holy place. If Chaz v'Shalom someone has evil thoughts or bad thoughts, he's where the thoughts are. Even physically, maybe in the synagogue, in front of the rabbi watching and listening to Dvar Torah. But his thoughts are at the stock market. So actually, he's in the stock market. He's not in front of, physically he's in front of the Torah, and he's listening maybe, but that's the physical aspect. Here, his essence is at the Dow Jones and the stock market.
You make yourself more present.
That's it. You have to be present. So make sure your thoughts are present in the right place, in the right. And that's why now how you do when someone is taken by evil thoughts, he has to go learn Torah. Torah is the tikkun of those evil thoughts. Tefillah is the tikkun of these thoughts. And it's very interesting. And that's what we says. Ekar tikun ha'machshava hu liot shev ve'al ta'aseh. When someone has machshavat ra'ot, shev ve'al ta'aseh. Stand still and don't try to do. That means Rabbi Nachman says, be careful when you try to fight evil thought. They become stronger. They bounce back and become stronger. So make sure that I said I'm going to start just stopping thinking about it. Said yeah, but Okay. And he has just to go and enter in the Ein Sof Olam, Baruch. He has tried to think about higher levels of understanding and Bina and Chokhmah, Da'at, and try to be in the aspect of himself. Try to think of Torah, the good things, positiveness, mitzvot. Maybe think about something you can do positive. Go visit a sick person. Go give zakah. Go help in the shul. Go try to do something. When you're busy with good thought, you don't have time to think about the wrong thought. It's one or the other. So try to put always your thought in the right place. And that's why look at this chidush in Likutei Elchot Rabbi Natan. I love it. He says, when he says, Shev ve'al ta'aseh, Shev milashon Shabbat. What Shabbat is? Ze sod kedushat Shabbat. This is the secret of the holiness of Shabbat. Shebe Shabbat nitna Torah. The Torah was given on Shabbat. Ve'az hu gilui ha'en sof baruch hu betachlit ha'yitgalut. And this is the revelation of the Ein Sof, the infinite gilui Ein Sof of the infinite of Hashem. Betachlit ha'gilut. That means what? It's not a coincidence that Hashem gave us the Torah on Shabbat. Why? To show you, when you go learn Torah, you achieve the level of Shabbat, Shev. That means your thoughts are not going anymore in the wrong direction. Torah is the spice, is the tikkun, is the way to repair all this. So when we say Torah, is Esek Torah. It's not just learn Torah. Be busy with what the Torah tells you what to do. With mitzvot, going tzedakah, going helping, volunteering somewhere. Try, get busy positively. Get out of the problem is people are sitting in front of the TV, looking the wrong stuff. This creates a lot of bad ideas, and they fantasies on top of every fantasy, and they lose it completely. Shut the TV, shut the stupid internet, those stupid movies, and go get busy with something which is going to make you grow, which make you build yourself. And we're going to finish very quick. Okay, I'm going to move on. Here I wrote a little note. I said, the only thing is very important to always have this godly awareness that we always have Hashem in front of us. Shiviti Hashem Gitamin. David Amer says, I always have HaKadosh Baruch Hu in front of me. When you figure out that Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is truly everywhere, and you keep repeating yourself, so how could you stumble and go in the wrong? But you have to repeat it and to pray for it, to do it bodedut. Ribono shel olam, please spare me of the bad thoughts, spare me of Amalek, spare me of those stupid ideas, and that it's all start. But now we're going to go to the root of the problem.
Yeah, also I heard a line recently. It says that being a winner and a loser is both hard. You just have to pick your heart. It's hard to be a loser and it's hard to be a winner.
Chazak, beautiful saying. I love it. Very. It's
it could be hard being in bed all day, overweight, and losing your life, or it could be hard to actually go and to make a difference.
Chazak. So that's a very good advice to think this way. Now, to finish, because there's so much to say, but we have to finish. That's it.
Go ahead.
The most important thing, and where we have to work, instead of avoid those machashvat raot, leaving a space to Amalek to enter, and to Chas v'Shalom get in immoralities and all that. Where is all start? Where is the real starting point of all troubles in life?
Thoughts.
Huh?
Your thoughts.
Thoughts, even before thoughts. Because alimenter, how you say alimenter in English? Sustain the thoughts. What give food to the thought? You said food for thoughts. Yeah, there's such an expression. What is the food for the thoughts?
Your soul.
No, the soul is on top of the thought. Is the eyes. The eyes is written. The pasuk says, "Ain ro'a v'alev chomed." The eyes sees and the heart desires, and then it's all start. It's all a problem. If you want to go to the root of the problem, is what is the eyes, and we have to work on what we're looking. And in this generation, this is the worst generation of generation. Today, we open your phone. Look at all the garbage which is there, and we all need a phone. We all need this tool to work. So, from one side, you need a tool. From the other side, it's full of garbage. Full. You go walk. Good luck in Miami. Okay, I live in Montreal. There is snow there. Baruch Hashem, at least in the winter, we have it's nude. But here, you turn. You're gonna have your neck is you get cramps in your neck. You have all over you. Whenever you go, there is something that you're not supposed to look at. So that's the istaklut, the I want to finish with two beautiful stories because there's so much there. First, understand, and that's a friend told me once. He said, when the problem, forget about now, Zer Levatala, Amalek, bad thought, immoral thought, because you see the wrong things. Because that's what makes the brain think, okay? He said, just practically speaking, a super advice. He said, when someone looks only at the curves and the superficiality of a woman, of a car. You see, let's say, like here, a beautiful car in Miami, right? You see a Ferrari. Now the guy doesn't know nothing in mechanics, doesn't know nothing. Oh, wow, the color red and the shape. He only sees that. He doesn't even understand what's all about, what's inside, how many horsepower, how many injections. He said, He's just looking the exterior, superficiality. He sees a woman, instead of looking her inner beauty, he just stop at the exterior. A person like this, who gets used only to look at superficial things, he will also think only superficially all his life. Because his brain is going to only look superficially on everything. And when he's going to be in times of trouble, and he needs deep thought and deep understanding, he will never get there. Why? Because he trained so much his mind to see only the superficiality of life and people and objects. He will always be trapped in this superficiality and will never be able to look at the profound inside. So that's already something that just by this we should be aware that. Why always look at the inside? You see a beautiful building, don't just stare at the architecture. Maybe understand how they build it inside out, the car. But more important, a woman, she deserves more than to be in a meat market. She deserves Am Yisrael, Am Kadosh. We said in the beginning of the class that B'schut Nashim Tzadkaniyot, B'schut Am Yisrael, the tzniut of our, that's where we got the Geula. And the end Geula, Achret Kereshit, the same way we're going to have now. The Geula is like the Reshit, like in the beginning. And whoever closes his eyes to look at the bad thing, evil things, mistaken, and he's only looking at the right thing, not the wrong thing, he will gain so much. I don't want to read you so many things, but just Yosef HaTzadik, just to take the example of Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef HaTzadik achieved, and he was the ruler of Egypt. He was the one who prepared the exodus of Egypt. Why? Because Ben Porat Ali Yosef Ali Ayin. Yosef HaTzadik was so strong on his eyes. He didn't let himself go in the wrong direction. Everything is in the eyes. And the one who knows how to close his eyes, these two eyes, on the superficiality of this world, he will open the third eye. What is the third eye? Is the eye of Ruach HaKodesh, is Holy Spirit, is the eye of prophecy. I give you, and this is we have three eyes. Everyone has three eyes. It's called in the pineal gland. You know what's a pineal gland? It's a little gland we have in the middle of the brain, and that's where you see Yaakovinu has this vision from there. It's coming from there. We all have the pineal gland. Now some people activate the pineal gland and have the third eye, which opens on things that we don't see, and they see. Why? Because they know how to close their eyes on the stupidities and dvarim betelim of this world. Since we're today Baba Saleh Zirula, I will tell a story about Baba Meir. Rabbi Meir Abu Chatzira. It's a very well-known story. It happened in 1967 in Israel. It's in the newspaper. You can go to search and look on net of this story. Listen to this beautiful story, Liora. It says like this. There was a kid who was kidnapped. And they were the Mossad, the Shin Bet, all the agencies, the police in Israel, looking all over. They were looking for him, no way to find him, and they asked a huge ransom, but the parents didn't have this kind of money to pay. Rich people, but not enough to pay the ransom that the kidnappers were asking for. So at the end, when they have no way to find where this kid is, they want to see Baba Saleh in Netivot. Say, Baba Saleh, please help us. You know, they go see the tzaddik at the end. They start with the police and everything. It's a good, that doesn't matter. So they went there. Baba Saleh looked at him and said, you know what? I'm sorry, I can do nothing. It's too much for me. So what do you mean? If you can do, who's going to make it? He said, go to my son, Baba Meir, who is in Ashdod, and he will tell you where your kid is. So they went to Ashdod. Say, go to Baba Meir. Say, what? My father sends you to me? Are you nuts? He's much holier than me. What you talking? No, he says that. Please. He said, you're going to tell. You see what Baba Meir did? It's already on record on newspaper. He said, bring me a map of the city of London. Now, Baba Meir, you understand, when he left Morocco from the Tafilalet, a very remote area, okay, like a very, he left for Marseille, Ashdod. That's all his air miles he had, okay? He never went anywhere. So, Rav Gedalia, Tzaddik Ata Ma'ifrah.
How are you?
Baruch Hashem, good to see you.
You know him? No way.
So Rabbi Meir, who left Morocco, Marseille, Ashdod, that's it. They came to him and said, okay, your father Baba Saleh told us, you're going to tell us where he was his son who was kidnapped. So he said, give me a map of the city of London. They opened the map, and he looked at it. He said, he's here, on the 6th floor, in this building. Where he pointed, the docks of London. London, the city of London, had docks, but abandoned docks. They were like old, there. He said, are you sure? He said, try. Because Scotland Yard, the Shin Bet and whatever, Mossad and all, after 2 hours, they sent a crew there, and they found the kid on the 6th floor in the building where Baba Mir told them.
Wow.
They all came crazy. How the heck did he know? They also said, how did you know? How could you possibly know where? Nobody knew. And they obviously brought by the kid. So everyone was happy. So El came and said, tell us, what's your secret? What was his answer? Listen to this answer. He says, what everybody sees, I refrain myself to see it. And because of that, I can see what no other people can see. That's what Oshmirat Enayim. That's we're back to our subject. When someone closes his eyes, his two eyes, Torah Rabbeinu Samer He, Likutei Moharan, when he closes his eyes on the Hevle Olam Hazeh, on the vanities of this world, he opens the third eye, which is the eyes of Ruach HaKodesh, of you see much further. You see, you have the Lubavitcher Rebbe. You see the inside of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, how he's thinking so far away. How do tzaddikim have such insights and views? And why? Because they close their eyes on the vanities of the world, on the superficiality of what's going on inside. So when we close our eyes, not only, Baruch Hashem, we develop those insight and this vision, which is like Ruach HaKodesh, and for some people, Nevoah. All the tzaddikim I met in my life, Rav Berlon, Rabbi David Pinto, Zachel Eto, Rav Batzri, my own rabbi, all the great tzaddikim I met, Rav Gedalia, Kenning, Rav Kenning, and all of them. I all asked them, what's the secret of your Ruach HaKodesh? Because they all have Ruach HaKodesh. And Rabbi Pinto is another level that we cannot even understand. All same answer. Shmirat Enayim. One answer. I didn't get two answers. Always Shmirat Enayim. Why? Because when you protect those eyes, you protect your brain, you protect everything, and it's done. So here, to go back to the root of the problem of evil thoughts, Irurim Ra'im, the evilness which brings after Chaz v'Shalom the worst of the sins, Zeravatala, and all, it's all start here. How can we control and be able to make sure we don't see and look at the superficiality of this world? And we fix so much things, and we make this world much better. And we give consideration to women. We don't treat them like piece of meat on the street. This is Chaz v'Shalom. The whole Geulah is through the Am Yisrael, the Nashim Tzadkaniyot. Give them credit. And by the way, it's much more a lady who's well dressed and is nude. She's a woman of valor, a woman who's much more appreciated. My wife always tells to our students in the school, look how the queen and the princess in England they dress. Look their dress code of the royalty. It's nude. You're never going to see princess this or princess that in a tank top and a bit. You're right. Royalty is nude, is class, is that's why Am Yisrael is all about. Bnei Melachim. We are we are Bnei Melachim, Bnot Melachim. So that's the way we have to behave ourselves. As mamash, we have to feel, understand. We have a privilege. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Toratu. So we have to appreciate our who we are, our essence, and be able to catch. So Bezrat Hashem, if we grab those ideas, there's so much more to say, but it's infinite. I'm using the Rabbi Sheikh Gedalia. Rabbi Sheikh's on Otzach Shovavim is beautiful, amazing quotes and all the source in the Zohar, the Gemara and everything. So it's so much more to say, but I think we said enough today. Thank you very much, everyone.
Could you give a blessing to the audience?
Liora the audience. D'abord, first Liora. She's been she's smiling and she's working and she's standing up. We're sitting and she's working hard. So first Liora Bezrat Hashem should meet your Zivug Amiti, Bezrat Hashem, and enter the chuppah in the highest level of holiness, Bezrat Hashem. Never. And
I'll record the wedding.
You stand up this one. And Bezrat Hashem for all the audience and all of us here and Gedalia Fenster, which I admire very much, and we all admire the beautiful work of Gedalia. Bezrat Hashem, we should all be zoche to be shomer enaim, shomer abrit, betachlit hashmira, not just shomer, betachlit hashmira, and be b'zchut Baba Saleh, who all those tzaddikim achieved their level of holiness and kedusha, and they became eternal. Because those tzaddikim, when we speak Rabbi Nachman, Rabbi Natan, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, Rabbi Meir Balanes, they're eternal. Why? Because they entered the realm of holiness and kedusha. Kedushim tiyu ki kadosh ani. Pirushim min harayot. Separate yourself from immorality. That's why you become kadosh, you become eternal, and that's why those tzaddikim are still with us. Although physically we're not here, we speak with them. And when we speak Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai 2,000 years ago, almost 1 million people at Lag BaOmer. How is it possible? After the Super Bowl in America doesn't attract 1 million people at the stadium. Is there a stadium of 1 million people here? So how come in Lag BaOmer one day during the year, 1 million Jews after 2,000 years, they come to visit Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? Why? Because he was who he was, holy of holiness. Why? And foremost, he kept his mind clear of all stupidities and superficiality. For sure, never zehalivatala, because when your mind is clear, there's no such a thing as zeh. And because his eyes, and so on and so forth, like we spoke, all the chain of command. So Be'ez Hashem should have all those midot of us. Because we see, ve'amech kulam tzadikim, we all tzadikim. We all have this grain of tzidkut, and we all. And I will finish because Gedei, and I think I'm going to tell to the viewers something, because don't think I'm a holy man. I'm a very pashut guy, and I have my up and down every day. I'm a Russian roller coaster, okay? But when I'm on a down, I always remember something, Rabbi Nachman. This is what's holding my life, my all my tshuva, all what I'm doing in my is one sentence of Rabbi Nachman. Ta'amin she'efshar likalkel. You have to believe.
You've told that to me so many times.
You have to, because this is what's holding me.
Wow.
You think I don't have drops? You think I have the days where I'm kaput? But what lifts me up again? This sentence of Rabbi Nachman.
Hope.
Hope, never Yehush, no Yehush. You were mekalkel. You how do you say in English mekalkel?
Destroyed.
You destroy. You damaged. It's okay. You can rebuild. You can start all over. You deserve atala? Okay. There's a tikkun aklali, migve, prutat tzedakah. Move on. Because Yetzirah is going to tell you,
stay.
No, you're gone. Finish.
Stay
no.
in Egypt,
What does Gemara says? Sheva pe'amim mipol tzaddik. The tzaddik falls 7 times. But ve'akum, he stands up again. What's the difference? And finish with this. That's it. What's the difference between tzaddik and the rasha? There's one and single difference. Both of them has spiritual falls. The rasha stayed in his fall, and the tzaddik comes back on top. So both of them, they do the mistakes. You think tzaddikim were, this is in other religion. We don't have this kind of religion. Our tzaddikim are human beings. We have the up and down. We spoke about Noach before. We spoke about Avraham Avinu, Bameda, this. Each one has his high and lows. But the difference between tzaddik and the rasha, Esav and Yaakov, Esav fell, he never stand up again. Yaakov, he has it up and down. And we're up, it's called Israel. Back to Yaakov. Israel, Yaakov. And then, that's the difference. So all our viewers has to know, whatever we did, whatever we're going to do, there's always a reparation. There's always a tikkun. There's always tikva. There's always a possibility to start all over again and again and again and again. Even 1,000 times you fall, but 1,001 times you stand up again and you make it happen. And then this is exactly what Hashem is happy with when He sees you fall and go back on your feet.
Beautiful.
And never give up. Yeah.
Yeah, Chazaku Baruch. My name is Jonathan Ben Shimol, and I approve this message.